All right. So welcome in whenever you get in. Um, this reading has a bit of inspiration behind it. Um, I was sitting today. Um, I actually have the energy to do a live today. I've been getting my energy back. I've been doing things that I need to do, um, to get this energy back so that I can get back on track with things. But um, so I was thinking and I was sitting in meditation a lot today. I've just let my thoughts run and fly, just letting them exist, catching on to what I feel is necessary and releasing what I don't think is necessary. Everything on that perspective. Um, and a few things perked my interest that I need to talk about before I jump into any reading. Um, and the first one is the title of this video, which is "Don't Forget About Mother." We all know um, God as Father, but that keeps you based off of time. You always hear divine timing, and you trust in the divine timing that Father gives you. Father is Saturn. We're ruled by Saturn on this plane. Um, it's who the Father is. So what you're forgetting is about Mother. Mother is the one that can save you. Father gives you the resources to be able to supply for whatever you need. Um, and that's what you're needing to realize and not forget. You're always thinking Father, but you're never paying attention to Mother, and it takes two to make you. The Bible will teach that you only have the Father, and the Father is the Trinity of all three in one. But at the same time, a masculine cannot produce the body. A masculine cannot produce what is there. What is needs to be nurtured, a masculine cannot provide. The nourishment that you're seeking and praying and wanting does not come from Father. Father gives discipline, Father gives lessons, Father gives you the time. Mother gives you the energy, gives you the nourishment, gives you the cause for the effect that Father has in store for you. And you're needing to remember that, and you're needing to really understand. And it's this cycle of understanding bits and pieces at once. You know, you're understanding these bits and pieces of, excuse me here, but you're understanding these bits and pieces of, everything within me is everything on the outside of me. Everything above me is the same thing as on this realm. But then we just kind of forget that everything on this realm is replicated from the divine. It starts with the divine. Everything starts in the divine, and it comes down here. Everything that you believe to be bad happens in the divine first. It all happens with the divine. Um, Divine is the only thing that exists. The um well, we can talk about it a little bit. So I'll cover this a little bit, but I'm wanting to cover it on like a solo video, so I'll dive into it a little bit. But the entities, the energy that you would describe the devil with, comes from your own volition. That is a human-made entity. That's called free will. That's where lust comes from. That's where all these energies come from. Yes, of course, we can tie it back to the divine, but it's because whatever was divine steered away from the divine path, which was part of the divine's mission in the first place. So you need to understand that is that there is no evil, there is no devil that cannot do what the divine does not already pass through. You need to understand that. So instead of being like, oh, I'm under attack by a bunch of devils, you're not under attack by a bunch of devils. You're under the supervision of the divine, putting you through a test to see if you're ready for this next level, for these next upgrades. These demons are only being exposed because they've lied dormant within you, and you've either grown comfortable or didn't know about them. And thank you for the membership. I hope you enjoy it. But that's something that needs to be understood and really thought more about on a personal perspective when it comes down to things, because we're all here to learn. And this realm is a lot more simple than you think. It is us as people, as beings on this planet, who end up using our free will in ways that create this outcome that isn't so pleasurable for the rest of humanity or for yourself, or regardless, for anything. So there needs to be an understanding that the divine is always in play, and you're not trying to create heaven on earth, because doing that implies that you yourself have not found the heaven inside of you. Understanding what materialism is, and materialism just isn't having a bunch of items. Materialism is finding comfort in an external place. And something that's not talked about a lot is that you believing that heaven is an external source is a form of materialism. It's showing, and it's because materialism is just getting gratification from an outside source. So you're needing to understand that is that you're looking for a heaven, and you're looking to create heaven on earth through external beliefs or external lookings and searchings, is a source of materialism. It's all within you. When it's always said, and that's something as well that's overlooked, is like whenever everyone says everything's inside of you, it's literally that. It, even if you want to use scripture, it's in scripture. You can go back to the emerald tablets, as within, so without, as above, so below. You can look in the Bible. It says the kingdom of heaven is within you. There's nothing outside of you. Everything is within. The things that you're searching for externally will never come because you've yet to find them internally. And you need to really pay attention to that and really get into the grips and the grit of that. And it's definitely something that you have to get used to. But that's where Mother is at. When you do these prayers, when you ask for things, the divine gives you these ideas, this energy, the wands, for instance, in the tarot, they give you that the currency to be able to fund what you need. And Father Time allows you to spend that currency however you please. That's your free will. But what you're not doing is you're not asking for the help of Mother. You're only getting the help from one, when there's another one that you're forgetting, i.e. your feelings, the intuitive consciousness. Everyone remembers the Father because the Father is spoken of so much. We're ruled by the land of materialism, of like doing work on the physical realm, which i.e. is Father. But there's not much of a look for the divine. People hear the divine and they either think of angels or the heavens or just God in general, but they're only looking at it from a one-point focal view. There's a whole other side that you're ignoring. And the fact that you might not have even known about this, or the fact that this might be a shock to you, is because you still actually haven't found the intuitive, the divine within you, the nurturing part of you, the feminine inside of you. You've yet to find that. So that's why it seems like a shock, or why some things aren't working, because you're putting all your effort and all your energy into the masculine side. Attention goes where energy flows. You have to give equal care to both. You have both a mother and a father. And yes, you can get to heaven through Father. You can get to heaven within time. But to get to Mother, you must get through Father, which is time. How do you get through time? You break it down from inside of you. Whatever you've spent time on, you need to be able to nurture it on your own, to show Mother that you're trying and you need help for that nourishment, and to ask for that help as well. And really being aware of it, because I've been getting a lot of downloads recently, especially from Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary both. I actually have a book that has like a whole 17, 18-ish prayer page straight to Mother Mary, which is an interesting thing. I'll have to like upload it at some point or take photos of it because it's a really interesting, strong prayer. Um, and I used to do it daily to just connect myself more to Mother. And it works. But there's a whole other side of spirituality that you're not oh my God, focusing on, which is the nourishment part. The warfare, all the things on the material, the battles of internal and external, those things are fought, and fighting is the masculine trait. But resting, the actual intuitive side of you that you need to pay attention to is the lack. You're both you have both mother and father inside of you. You aren't one thing or the other. To claim you to be one thing limits you, and you're a limitless being. So that's your first problem if you are trying to identify with, oh, I am this. No, you're not. And it's not to say that you're not that, but you're more than that. So the fact that you would limit yourself to one thing shows how one-sided you're viewing something, which is why things are out of balance. We live in the realm of duality where balance is necessary. You cannot just say you're one thing. I mean, you can, you have free will to, but that's going to throw everything you do out of whack. You know, you can claim that, oh, I am this divine feminine energy. Well, that's why your emotions are so out of whack and why you can't manifest things without them going haywire. And you can go, I'm the divine masculine, which is why you feel like ruling with an iron fist is going to get you places, but it just keeps holding you back because you're forgetting the opposite side that needs to balance. You are the reason why these things are happening, and they show up in the physical realm to show you, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's messing up, this is what you could do. These things show you the parts of you that you don't look at. So you need to pay attention to that as well. And just really understand that there is two, and that you are a duality. You yourself are a twin individual. You're not one person, you are two beings inside of one body. You are two souls split into one body, and you observe both of them. And that's something that needs to be talked about more within spirituality. That's something that needs to be recognized more, especially if you are an alchemist. If you don't know that you are a twin individual, but yet you call yourself an alchemist, that's your first issue. That's your big test. Is if you're an alchemist, if you're going to claim these titles, then you must know what these titles mean. You must understand in depth what these things do. And not only on like a mental place, but in a spiritual place. You need to spiritualize these things, not actualize them. You don't need to realize them either, because realizing them is just the projection of the inside. I've talked about it a lot. Anything with the letters RE in it in the English language before as a prefix with RE is to do again. You can look it up. We learned this stuff in like second grade. It's how words work. We make compound words. We take things and mash them together to make a new meaning, but that doesn't change the actual base compounds. They're just mashed together. It's alchemy 101. You can't just do those things without understanding that now you have added both of those elements into one. So now it's both. It's not the combination of both, but they're mixed. They're equally balanced. And the same thing with anything with the word A in front of it. If you're awake, you're asleep. If you're going through an awakening, then you're going through a slumber. Anything with A in front of it is literally not. It means to not have. It's a cancellation, like asexual. Like all these words have A in it, that means like singular. That's the spell that you're under, that people are under, that we're all under, is thinking that we're an individual, but we're not. We're a twin individual. And it's something that's been hidden from us, but it's something that's also in front of our faces, and it's been that way since like the strain of time. Like we have two of everything. But that doesn't mean you're limited to two either. You're an infinite being, but you have two beings inside of you that argue and we have one being inside of you that argues and walks away, and the other one that sits and waits for connection. Which is why people say the divine will always wait on you, because the divine always does wait on you. The intuitive thoughts that you get, the intuitive feelings that you get will always be there and wait. on you so that you can actually get what you need. But that, again, like, you need to focus on these things and really look at things from a point of view that's going to be beneficial. And it might be a world shock, it might be hard, and you might want to just say, no, that's not real at first, but it's the truth. And denial is the first stage. And the more you do your research, the more you look at things from a spiritual eye, and when you spiritualize things instead of actualize things, then you'll see. But it's all about, if you're spiritual, you must see things through a spiritual lens and not through the lens that's given to you through physiology. I can't say that word, through the physical realm. But remembering these things as you move on, remembering that all your efforts, though they've been heard, okay, I guess not, they've been heard by Father, but it needs the nourishment. You need to communicate with Mother. You need to connect yourself with the nourishment, with the source. I mean, she's right here with the world, I'm telling you. And this is how you get your things to start working for you. And on the bottom, we have the Empress. If I can't, I'm just telling you what I know. I'm just telling you what research, what digging in yourself really will show you. You have to get deep enough, though. You have to break certain barriers. You have to unlearn to relearn. You have to spiritualize everything. But with the world, this is the 4-step consciousness that you need to have to be able to get what you need. And what you're missing is Mother. I forgot the name of the gown that she's wearing, but it's like what you wear when you're in labor. That's what this gown is one of those things. I forgot what it's actually called, excuse me. But it's because she is the mother and the emperor is the father. So don't forget to, like, look at your feelings, not your emotions, because your emotions are created by thoughts. You act off of emotions. Your thoughts create emotions. They mimic how you feel. That's why when you have a feeling and an emotion, they're two different things. And when you sit down and focus on them instead of react, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel, oh, I shouldn't do this. And it will be a very faint, very, very faint, but you'll feel it within your soul as, oh, don't do this, oh, don't do this. But your emotions will generate your thoughts, and it'll back and forth rebound, and it'll make you want to react. That's what you need to break, that animalistic trait of attacking whenever something isn't fitting your criteria. We're here to learn and expand, not deny. You can be here to deny. Do what you want, and it's your free will. I would, be more courteous and use your free will a bit more willingly than just letting your thoughts control you. But I understand, like, being indoctrinated into years, decades of a one-way thinking pattern can be very hard to break. So again, it's all about the learning journey and taking your own steps. But you're only using 2 phases of your consciousness, and it's either your intuitive and your feelings, or you're only using your masculine and your action, your rational minded self and your action. When in actuality, you need to be able to perceive what the energy, the currency that the divine gives you, and put that into your feelings so that your feelings can feel your thoughts, so that your thoughts are serving your feeling, and you're able to output the correct manifestation that you want. The mindset of, oh, life is always going to be hard and, oh, life's always against me, comes from that mindset of not being able to manifest properly. Everyone thinks that they have this, like, perfect manifestation tool, but no one talks really about how to get down to it. And it's in front of your face every time. It's the elements. It's fire to water, water to air, and air to earth. And it's that simple. But we overcomplicate it. We have the free will to ignore it. Our thoughts have the free will to run on their own because with our free will, we've sent ignorance towards our thoughts and towards our feelings to not try and control them. And it takes a lifetime to really learn how to master these things. It's part of our journey of being here on earth is mastery of self. And we all understand that it's a mastery of self. And a mastery of self doesn't mean ignoring your emotions and more ignoring your feelings, excuse me, and pushing them down and bottling them up and feeling superior and gaining a spiritual ego. No, that's not mastery of the self. That's a spiritual corruption of self. That's a false way of thinking towards yourself. Claiming you're something and then not following in those footsteps is a corruption of self. That tells yourself that you're not that. You're just trying to take the label of, which is the big thing within spirituality right now, which is why a lot of people are being heavily affected by these retrogrades and by this, the portal that's still currently opening. 8 is only the beginning of the opening. The portal doesn't open one day and close the next. No, it stays for a while. It stays open for a while. It lets the energies acclimate, and then it slowly shuts again. I think it's sometime in September that the portal actually gets to its max and closes again, if I'm not mistaken. But it's very, very important during these changes not to ignore why the energies that you're feeling are coming. Do not ignore your soul. Your soul and your spirit are trying to push you forward. Your emotions, the divine wants you to receive the blessings that you have, but it requires you to live up to the titles that you claim for yourself, which can be hard. The titles that we have, the titles that we claim, the titles that we signed up for at the beginning of our departure to here, because we were not born on earth, we are born in spirit and then birthed, birthed, from sea to land, from above to below, from the divine, from the womb to earth, from water to land. Berth is what, what ships do. We are shipped here. you know but understanding that and seeing that these titles were given to you, but you must learn these lessons of that title. You must go through these trials and tribulations. You can even look at fairy tales the same way. Like, this realm is created as a big school, and you really have to open up your eyes, your spiritual eyes, your spiritualize things, and have that childlike wonder and understand that everything that happens to you is for a reason. It's not to shut you down or make you scared, but it's to open up your imagination again. It's the first thing that's beat out of you as a child is your imagination, your creativity, because of the not education systems, but programming systems that they put you in from fucking age, 4 till 18 or some shit like that. School is not an educational center at all. It's a programming center. If it was educational, education is to output. You don't input your education. You practice it in the field. You educate yourself. You get indoctrinated and programmed into not believing into yourself, into thinking that everything has a grade and that you have to have a certain output to receive some sort of blessing or anything, which is not how the divine works at all. That is how the world works because of control. Like, they don't want you to know this. And who's they? Literally anyone in this world that has power. What, the 5 people in this world that actually owns all the fucking money, all the 5 families, They don't want you to understand this. These are secrets that were taken out and removed. These are back in the Egyptian days, the Council of the Light Brotherhood and the Gypsies. They all knew these things, but they were took out and beat. And people who knew of these things were pagans, the ones that were called heathens, which is of earth. They were killed and slaughtered and called witches because they knew how to bring these things into life, actually. Which is why religion has got such a bad viewpoint, because religion was there to bash spirituality. It was to cover up spirituality. That's why you get hints in any religion, which there's only 3 religions in the world that we are run by, and it's Judaism, Hinduism, and Christianity. Is it? No, Islam. It's Islam. Excuse me. Islamic. It's those are the religions because they all use Jesus or Yahweh or Yeshua. They all use the same words. They all have the same scripture. They all talk about things being in spirit. They're all the same for a reason. And the reason why it's like that is because they contain literally every secret that you need to know of yourself. And it's not to bash anything, but it's to show you how textbook we are, because we're taught textbook our whole life. Our imagination's removed, our thinking for ourselves is removed, our context clues are removed. Things we're taught in elementary school that could actually help us in life are then removed by the years of middle school and high school that then teach you the exact opposite of what you learned in elementary school. You can even look back, everything that you learned in elementary school is everything that's talked about in spirituality, basically. Like, even when you get down into the deep mysticisms, like how words work and how numbers are and how they're the nine main numbers, and then everything else either gets added a zero at the end or they just get added back to, it starts all over back from one. Like, there's only nine numbers that we use and it just repeats over and over again. Like, these things we learn, but we forget them over time because it's like they want us to be aware. It's a whole thing to escape karma. Because I've talked about it a little bit, and we'll go into depth more about it at some day. But the reason why these corporations, these people can't get in trouble, they can't get karma or a divine punishment, is because the information's all around us. You cannot be punished for someone else's ignorance. Only the person who refuses to look deeper will be the one that is punished, and that is really how it is. Like, those are the rules that they know how to play. So you're wondering, like, oh, I'm not getting, like, how come these big companies and stuff aren't getting their karma? And it's, well, because the people that are affected by it still aren't awake. But again, with this divine awakening, people who know about it or not are waking up. It's like crystalline bodies are happening for everyone, even if they realize it. It doesn't matter. It's something that happens. It's something that naturally is occurring because of the age of Aquarius, because of all the portals, the planets, and everything. Like, just really look into the depths of things. Everyone's evolving. Things over the years have gotten different, though they've gotten more violent. The only violence that is the violence that they're bottling in inside themselves. It's a complete reset to flush the human body system so that the divine can fully come in, because the divine cannot come into a body unless it is pure. Pyre is pure. Purification by fire, the phoenix, the walking of the flame, however you want to talk about it. It doesn't matter, but the vessel must be pure. It must be purified. It must be cleansed of anything that is not of divine. That's why there's so much violence uproaring, and it's not, to scare anyone, but it's something that needs to happen. It needs to be eradicated out of the ones that need it the most. These energetic shifts have been so stressful and heavy because these are things that you've bottled down deep that are being ripped from the root by a divine order. It was in divine time. We chose to be here for this moment to really awaken to our true power and to remember who we are and what we are, and to claim our God and Goddess's energy and our God Goddess's powers. We're not emperors and empresses. We're none of those. We are kings and queens in the land of earth. It is our land. That's what they mean by the world is your oyster. You are literally the pearl inside of the oyster. No one breaks this down, but I'm about to break it down for you. When people say the world is your oyster, oysters have pearls in them. Pearls are they're valueless. You find all sorts of beauty inside the oyster. But you first have to open that oyster. You have to open the world. You have to open yourself to be seen, for you to receive these things. The world's an oyster. It's closed shut. It shuts you in. You have to be the one to open yourself up. And that's going to allow others to open, because you have that pearl inside of you. And some pearls are bigger than others, and some pearls are more shiny than others. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, that pearl is valueless. Everyone's going to take the pearl, despite if someone else likes it or not. That's just how the world is. But we all come from the same place. We all come here at the same time. It's just how we use our free will. It's our own outlook on the world that produces the world around us. And through years of abuse that everyone goes through, and just trauma and like karma and all sorts of just abuse that's passed down generation to generation, those things dirty you up. Those things keep you shut in. And it's something that everyone struggles with, but you need to be able to step out and not to beg and to plead for what you want, but to demand for it, because it's your right. The world's your oyster. If you want to be open and free, you must demand it. Demand to mother, I wish to be open, and father within time will send you what you need. Nothing can come to earth unless from mother. If you ever get the Raider White Waite tarot deck, and for the ones that do have it, you might have even noticed the queen comes first, then the page, then the knight, then the king, because in that order, the queen gives birth. The queen is the innocent, the pure, the divine, that then gives the page to you. You are the page. And as the page, you have all boundless opportunities. You are able to leap and take things. You transform into the knight through adolescence, through maturity, through lessons being learned, to be able to create with the king on the physical. With time, you're able to create. This whole realm is to get you to understand time and how it works, and how to master time, and not only time externally, but time internally, because your emotions, the energy that you have inside of you, your feelings, your thoughts, generate the time and how fast or slow it is outside. Time is experienced differently from everybody, and that's an internal clock that you have to fix. um and not necessarily fix, but you have to see it. You have to look at it. You have to look at the wirings of yourself and see which wires are dysfunctional, and see which wires aren't plugged into anything, see which wires aren't needed anymore. It's like going, it's like you're an electrician, and you don't have the right tools to really fix up your internal state, because you're looking at things wrong. You bring a hammer and a wrench to fix up um oh my god, a fuse box, and it's, why are you bringing a hammer to fix a fuse box? Why are you trying to beat something into you when you don't need to beat it into you at all? You need to be able to open yourself up and generate and create this energy. You need to look at things from a different light. You need to be able to not allow others to drag things out. Others might not understand you, or question you or whatever, but that's for them to question and not for you. You know everything that's about you. You know everything, who you are and everything. People will assume you're one thing and be completely wrong. People will assume that you're almost there, but you're actually there. There's no almost there. You are there 24/7. It's inside of you. There's no almost when it's inside of you. You're giving it from day one. When you're popped out of the womb, you have it. But it's a lesson of learning it. I was given this example, and I'll talk about it. While talking with my mentor, he mentioned that we're all this lighter, right? We all have the lighter. The flame's inside of here. The flame is already inside the lighter. We just need to find a way to turn it on. We need to find what flicks. We need to find a way to flick that light on to really allow us to ignite. That's how it is. It's always inside of us. It's always been inside of us. Everyone sees it inside of everyone. But the only reason why we are targeted more than others is because we actually were born with that key. And it's not that we're born with it and they weren't. But it's the fact that we didn't lose that part of the childhood, the part of our soul that allows us to see spiritually, to understand anything and everything is possible on this realm. That is the whole point. Do you know how much crazy shit happens outside of reality? Like outside of your little bubble, you know what I mean? Like look on the news, there's crazy shit. There's things being found every day. There's new inventions being made. All sorts of crazy shit. What makes you think that you're unable to do something? People from the past telling you that you can't. People in the past saying, oh, that's stupid or that's dumb. Well, that's dumb to them because they're not awake. They're not like you. You were there to awaken them, to show them the path to take. And that's what you really have to start digging down and seeing. That feminine flame inside of you to demand what you want, to demand that you are able to. You can beg and you can plead all you want, but you have the free will to change your mind. Once you start demanding things, and it's not rude to demand things, especially if you're here for that purpose. You're here to raise the vibration. You're here to heal the earth. We're here to create the new earth. If we want something, we demand it. We've been asking for things to happen, and they happen, of course, but don't feel bad to put your foot down and really be like, no, I want this to happen. I need this to happen. Show me what I need to do. No more like, oh, what if this could happen? No, I need this to happen. This is what I deserve. This is what I desire. Show me the steps I need to take to allow my desires to come through. and then allow your soul to guide you from there. Because your soul, the mother, is literally waiting on you just to step into your power. The power of feeling, the power of everything. And it's this energy that's inside all of us from day one that we've seen be wasted, and put on people that weren't, I'm gonna say it the way Spirit's putting it on me, that weren't deserving. Because if they were deserving, they would have used that power with grace. But instead of using it with grace, they let it go to waste. I didn't mean for that to rhyme either. Jeez. Okay, let's pop off, Spirit. Um, Confirmation. Thank you, Spirit, for that click. Oh my God. But I'm telling you, like, that's what you need to realize, is that you are this genie. We have the Two of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. And with the Two of Swords, it's like your thoughts blinding you. It's the past. The human mind is incredible. Only the now exists, but we, as advanced beings, have the ability to go into the past and go into the future. And the future is more of an intuitive thing that we can intuit. But the past is something that we can shoot back to at any time. And we get so used to doing it that our brain has then decided that the past is the best way to learn rather than looking within. Like, that's something that's self-taught of us through traumas and having certain expectations. That's why it's said to have gratitude for everything and accept nothing, because you're not promised anything, which is a lie. You're promised everything. You're promised your destiny path, but you have the free will to say otherwise. A lot of people who say those things are pessimistic, and that's why not many things good are happening in their life, and they'll get very defensive if you even point it out, because it's like, no, I'm living a good life, and but you're pessimistic, so I don't really think you're living a good life. Why would you be pessimistic if you're living what the divine has for you? The divine doesn't want to be pessimistic. That's not who the divine is. Like, let's catch up a little bit, okay? We all make mistakes. We're all here to learn. You're not Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, okay? So just chill out and, fucking drink some milk. I don't know. I'm a child. Get a grip. But the Page of Cups, you have to learn how to talk to your intuitive. You have to learn how to communicate with your feelings. I was even told this card, like, you're learning how to speak fish. Because you don't understand how to speak with your feelings. You don't understand how your feelings are speaking to you. Your feelings are an estranged language, because it's not based off of actual tones. It's based off of the inside. It's based off of vibrations, very high vibrations. No matter how low the feeling may feel, it's still a very high vibration that comes down to you from the divine to allow you to feel those things. That is the energy that the divine gives you, that then you transmute with your thoughts. That's why if your thoughts are ruling your feelings, the energy that's going to be sent to is going to shut everything down. And if you're allowing your thoughts to be servants of your emotions, you can literally switch your emotions on spot like that and be like, you know what, things are, I did go through something pretty bad, but I learned from that, and now I'm going to do something better. It's that whole transmutation state that happens within, because the Nine of Cups, you are this genie. You are this genie. The genie in the bottle. You're very satisfied. You have all your ducks in a row. It's a test. It's a whole test of seeing what you're wanting to manifest. You say you want to manifest this. You're saying you want to live this type of life. You're saying you're tired of these things. But are you really? I don't think you're tired enough, is honestly how the divine tests you. Is like, if you're truly tired, then you wouldn't do this. But you're stuck in these cycles. You're stuck in these loops for a reason. And it's not because you're failing or you're bad at doing something, but it's because you're not tired enough yet. There hasn't been enough of a noticeable change internally on your own behalf to truly push you to that level. And that's not saying that you haven't been doing the work, of course not, but it's saying that you're not realizing a bigger picture. You're seeing things in the small groups that you've worked on, and not seeing how the bigger picture is actually placed out. You're still putting all those tiny pieces together, working off of the logical standby, when you really need to be able to nurture and feel in all these emotions and bottle them into one. Yeah. And with the Two of Wands even, sacrificing thought consciousness for the divine, allowing yourself to understand that the world has one way of being, with that wand being glued to the Masonic stone, and then you're holding your other wand. That's your life. That's the life that the divine's given you. That's the divine that the divine's given you. And you're holding the world in your right hand. You can manifest anything. We're all master manifestors. Don't let anyone lie to you. That's the thing. There's so much like weird spiritual doom scrolling where people are like, oh my god, if you clicked on this video, then I know you're a master manifestor. We're all master manifestors. That's why we're down here. Stop falling for that bullshit. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of seeing it because it's really like downgrading, because then people are like, oh, I don't resonate with this, and I'm supposed to be a manifester. Well, you've manifested me, and I'm here to tell you the same thing that you already know inside of you, that you already created. You in fact manifested everything since the birth that you've had. You're a manifester. We're all manifesting every damn day of our lives. There's no, oh, you're a select few master. No, we're all here to manifest. There's no such thing as that. That's pessimism. That's a weird thing that people with a one-tracked mind think of. They're not seeing the bigger picture. And I don't like, I'm just telling you from a mystic's point of view. And like, you can talk to other mystics and they'll say the same thing. It doesn't make sense. Like, and even the people that say like, I don't like saying people are master manifestors, they get it to that degree of like, we're here to manifest. That's the whole thing, is we're learning how to do that. We wouldn't be here on this planet learning these tough lessons of how to control our feelings and how to use our feelings to help our thoughts create the path we need to do, and listening to our intuition. We wouldn't be here doing that if we weren't manifestors. We manifested this. It's our destiny that we're trying to find. We've already manifested everything that we need in this world. Now we just got to go find it. We just have to go find it by using our soul, our lamp. That's why in the Bible it says that you have the fire, the lamp, the lantern is your soul. That's literally that whole verse. That's why it's saying that, because you literally have to follow where your soul's going. Your soul is the light. You literally are the hermit your whole entire life. You're in hermit mode because you're trying to draw up, not searching out, but you're trying to draw up those feelings. You're trying to draw up that energy so that you know how to use it and know where to go with it. These things that people try, it's like, I don't know, because it's not bad to like, I don't know, it's just one of those weird things where I talk about a lot that that needs to be eased into, but at the same time needs to be realized immediately, because those things, the things that I tell you, the things that I will be open with you and tell you about, are things that you need to be very aware of, but then be eased into. It's like riding a bicycle. You're told how the pedals work, you're told how the bike works, you're told why you need the helmet, knee pads, and you're told why you need training wheels, and then you're set on the bike. You need to ride that bike to understand how it actually works. So of course I'll sit here and I'll tell you all these things, and it'll make you feel these emotions, it'll make you act out in certain ways, but it's not to irritate you or to piss you off or to make you sad or to make you happy. It's to make you it's to make you notice what's going on, why you're here, so that then you can sit back, reflect, and see, oh fuck, this is why that's happening, that's why that's happening. I'm not at fault and I'm not a bad person, but I'm understanding how everything is connected now. It's not a blame game, it's not a shame game. It's just the actuality of being here on this planet. It's the reason why we need to remember mother, is so we can nurture ourselves and really love ourselves for who we are, and not mistake ourselves for manifesting anything bad or unruly. But it's to show us that when we manifest from places that are not healed, or manifest out of poor emotions, it then becomes a not so satisfiable reality that you end up manifesting. You manifest out of panic and fear, and it fumbles because you manifest off of the worry of time, which time does not need to be constricting. Time is not really a thing of worry. Time is a way of measurement. Time is what will restrict you, which is why it's Father. That's why there's a lot to go into about that, and we'll have to go into it on a different day. But there's a lot. There is a lot to know, to learn. It's all within you. Every bit of this information is inside of you. The feelings you feel are, I mean, I'm telling you, dude. Even the divine's just hitting here like, cheering me on for it, because it's true. You're the fool. You're here to learn, but you have this dog. Your intuitive. You're not. Excuse me. Who's get out of here with that? Your thought consciousness. Excuse me. The dog is your thought consciousness that barks at you all the time and says, "Oh, be careful of that ledge. Oh, there's a bunch of waves crashing up. Oh, be careful of this. Be careful of that." Why do you need to be careful if you are protected and guided by the divine 24/7? The intuitive consciousness has the free will to do that, and so has the divine given its free will. You need to understand these things. It's to get you into your power. Once you're able to move forward without these thoughts existing or these thoughts holding you back in any sort of way, you're able to manifest in measures that are beyond your way of thinking, because your way of thinking is truly limited, but your way of feeling is unlimited. You can think of all the possibilities in the world, but nothing will be stronger than that feeling. And if your thoughts trick your feelings into feeling a certain way, then you have all this manifestation power going towards what if situations that aren't the best. And yeah, I take questions. With the lovers, again, talking about the union, talking about just the divine union of your masculine, the feminine, the masculine looking at the feminine while you sit in the middle and being able to manifest everything that you want. But asking mother, no more asking father. You need to not ask father anymore. Father, you've asked father for a lot. Things need to come through mother first. Things cannot just be manifested out of thin air without having the divine intervene with it. Power to come through first, and then you're able to manifest. It's no one really talks about it. Everyone talks about, oh, just no. Hell is a personal point of view. If you believe that hell is on earth and you are inside of yourself, your soul does not want to be in your body. That is how I feel about that. Because I have personally gone through hell, and it's personally because it's a thing where your soul does not agree with your actions and it wants to leave. It doesn't want to be in your body. Hell and heaven are concepts that are made up by our minds, our thought consciousness, to be able to give us something to reach for externally instead of looking internally. It's all within you. Everything is completely within you. But that's how I feel, and experiencing it, and really, like, I had a very interesting dark night of the soul. It lasted for years, and I spent the entirety of it in contemplation. And not any bad part, but it did definitely push me to the edge a few times. But I sat and I really had to think about everything that I even speak on. It's not something that I just like randomly talk about. These are things that I've spent years of my life really digging in and seeing the actions, and seeing like how there's parts of me, and the reason people don't forgive me or thinks me some ways, because I used to think of myself in those sort of ways and I didn't forgive myself for certain things. It is a constant battle between you and yourself, and really understanding that you're here to learn. um and like, we're all mirrors of each other, and some of us aren't on the levels as others, and others are way above us, but it doesn't matter, because everything that they've gone through or they know, you already have gone through, and that you already know. Everything is based off of energy, and that energy is supplied from the divine. The energy is not supplied from yourself, it is not supplied from your thoughts, it is the divine that gives you the energy, and then you, who have the free will to do whatever you please with it. And that's where your free will kicks in. And that's why people get this back and forth of, oh, I can't do these things, and then you say you can't, and then the energy is like, oh, well, you can't do these things with me, I understand. So with this energy that we're giving you, since you said that you can't do these things, you can't do them, because that's what you willed up. That's the free will. And of course you can always take things back. It's not like a definite, like, dead zone answer. The divine is there for you always, but you need to be more careful of the words you say and the words you speak over your own life, because a lot of curses that you're under is because of you, in ways that you speak to yourself, like, oh, I'll never find love, and oh, people hate me. that then manifests people in with that energy of that will attract the energy, and you just attract those entities towards you, the spirits that you conjure up through those thoughts, through that energy output. Find a vessel that isn't spiritually protected because they're either unaware or they're just an open vessel, and then they attach to them and they gravitate towards you to find their way towards you. That's the spiritual battle, is you create your own entities, you create your own battles to fight in, whether you really want to acknowledge it or not. But you have to come to that consensus that it is all you. And it's not an easy thing to come towards, and take it at your own pace and at your own will. But everything comes from you. Nothing, because the act of it, like it, I don't know how to explain it, because it's something that we've all gone through. It's something that you really need to take time and contemplate. And have an open mind. Don't just disregard everything like, oh, I'm not, because I'll even talk about it. It's like the fact that you might have gone through abuse, or gone through an addiction, or gone through like losing a child. Is because you've lost a bit of those parts of yourself. You've abused those parts of yourself. You've been addicted to certain thought patterns and parts of yourself that aren't beneficial, so they manifest on the 3D. And whenever they do that, it's like it's either going to break you or it's going to make you. And when it breaks you, you can stay down for as long as you want, but whenever you get back up, things will get better. But then we have death on the bottom. Yeah, that's why I'm here. I am a like full firm, like I've dumped years. I'm like, I'm not that old, but I have thought this way. I've been thinking of this since I was like 7. I've spent literally my whole life I've been like alone. So I've had a lot of time to really contemplate and think about things, and to really delve into everything. And I don't know, I've just noticed so much about life and about people and projection, and how people use their energy, and how people look around and do things, and why their lives are that way. Like, I can read people's energy. Like, I don't even mean to, but I'll be walking around and I'll just pick up on people, and it's like, yeah, I see why you're feeling that way, or you're having a bad day, and I can kind of see why, because it relates to this and that. And it's really, like, I don't know, just being empathic and everything. It's just one of those things that the divine puts in all of us, but we have to be awakened to it. And it takes time to really see these things, and not to even mention like reincarnation and past lives and everything. But it's all about this inner transformation with death. That's really there to show you and to teach you. And you can really, it's like these, I don't know, you can really tell, because when you really sit down and look at it, when you really sit down and you pay attention to it, pay attention to the way people type, pay attention to the way people say words to you, pay attention to the projections that are sent out, and then think about you. Think about how that's reflected onto you and how you've done things of that nature. You see yourself. You will see the mirror in front of you. You actually have to look, though. You really have to dig down and do it. And it's not easy. Trust me, it's not. But you start having a bit more grace on yourself, which then pops out on other people. It's one of those things. And people, it's because people will literally say things that, and I feel like the person typing in chat right now is kind of doing that right now as well. Like, you'll realize that things that you say aren't to the person you're talking to. They're talking to themselves right now, and they're trying to wake themselves up, because I'm only a reflection of them. I'm a part of them that knows things that they know. And sometimes you talk to yourself, wake yourself up, because you're the one that's going to be realist with you. And I do my best to be as honest and open and transparent here as I can. Understanding like feelings and everything. I try not to be blunt. I try not to I think I do a pretty decent job, because I don't You know, whenever I feel like I get too bitch, too bitch. Excuse me, spirit. Whenever I feel like I get too much, I do back up a bit. You know, so I try not to step on any toes, but it's one of those things where you kind of gotta step on some toes a little bit. You know, you gotta do something because you got it. Like if you don't ruffle the soil, you can't plant the seed. And it's one of those things. You have to be delicate with it, but at the same time, like when this seed is actually grown, it grows, and people learn one way or another. Um, but it's just one of those things. Um, Hold on. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Setting boundaries for the way that you don't like people. So like, think of it this way: would you set a boundary for a thought? Would you stop a thought from coming to you that you don't like? Think of it that way. Think of literally people on the outside of you as thoughts that run through your head, as the divine running, literally in the hologram in front of you. So let's say someone wants to call you too emotional, but you're intuitive and you just pick up on things. So you set that boundary mentally. Oh, I'm not too emotional. I just know what's going on. I might be sensitive to the energies, but that doesn't make me emotional. I feel. Emotions are thought formed. If I can block out my thoughts of people saying I'm too emotional, I can block out those people that also think I'm too emotional. They aren't on that understanding of who you are just yet, and they see things from the traumatized, abused version of your past where people would say, "Oh, you're too emotional," or "I'll give you something to cry about." Those energies there, and they operate off of that old system that you have already released yourself from. So setting those boundaries, as long as they're healthy, you know, and the boundaries are healthy. Let's just get real. The only kind of boundary that's not healthy is a boundary that you set by like burning a bridge, or by like being outright nasty to someone because they quote unquote deserve it. You know what I mean? But setting boundaries is a very important part, and understanding that you're not wrong for setting boundaries. It's an act of self love. You can't save everyone, and that's another thing. A lot of healers, a lot of the empaths out here, a lot of just spiritual people in general. You have to realize you cannot save everyone. You are going to leave behind a lot of people, and it's on their own volition that they don't want to hear you out. And it's not that you're not hearing them out, you are hearing them out. But it's these old programs of, you don't know how I feel. I know how you feel. I just don't know how you're thinking. That's the thing. Everyone has gone through the same emotions I have gone through, and I have gone through the same emotions you have gone through. The only difference is the thoughts. I don't know how to think about losing a child because I've never lost a child, but I've lost pets and I've lost parents, you know? I know the energy that loss brings. I understand how deeply rooted it is whenever you have something that you love that much be you know, taken to the next level by surprise or however. I understand how that feels, but I don't understand the thoughts behind that. That's the only difference. I feel what you feel. I've gone energetically through what you've gone through energetically, just as everyone else has. I just don't know how it's affected you mentally. I don't know your thoughts. I don't know the emotions that are generating those thoughts, but I know what it feels like. And that's the thing you need to understand, especially as empaths. Your job is not to pick at people's brains. That's really, if you want to get down to it, that's what tarot's for, is picking at the brain and seeing what's going on mentally, and how we can fix those things. That's like, this is shamans and everything of those natures. That's how healers operate. They look at cases and case by case, and they analyze, and they go, okay, so this is that and this. Like, and that is just really, it's a hard thing to talk about because people want to go to that phase of, you don't know what it feels like. And I've been depressed for this long, and they use time as an example to set how deep their wounds are. But in fact, who says that you haven't gone through those things as well? Um, but just understanding that as well, because it's it's a personal issue on a collective like table. Like it's a table and we're all bringing our own food, you know. But we all have our own personal opinions about whatever food's brought. You know, we all enjoy the food because it's, you know, it's just how it is. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to explain it. I think I got it though. But understanding that really will take you bounds and bounds and bounds further than you really thought you could go. And these are the talks that not many people like to hear because they're still in this energy of wanting to scapegoat or use sacrificial lambs to like blame other people, which is fine. It takes a minute to really grasp these things, like it does. It's not easy and it can send you to a dark night of the soul if you're not careful, which is why you gotta take things at your own pace and easily. But again, these are things that you need to be aware of. Um, it's just difficult to talk about them, and no one wants to be seen as the bad person for talking about these things. But I see so many cycles from people that I used to be stuck in and that people want to escape, and I just I feel it. It needs to be talked about, and not many people talk about it. And you got to take a hit. You have to take that hit and to be the proclaimed bad person. And you got to remember that that's just how they think about you. That's not how they're feeling about you. Their soul isn't thinking that you're a bad person. Their soul isn't making them feel like you're a bad person, but you're bringing up those feelings that generate those thoughts that make them think, and they don't like the way they're thinking about themselves. Then they blame you for being a bad person. And it's like, I'm not a bad person. I'm just showing you you're not as healed as you think you are, and nor am I, and nor is anyone, because we like to think highly of ourselves. Um, let's get that really competitive. We love to think highly of ourselves, even when we don't. We will look at someone else and be like, oh, I'm you know, it's a comparison thing. Even when you don't think it, there is a bit of you that will always do that. I am telling you, it is something that you need to remove. And of course, it's a split second thing. It's not saying you stay leached onto it, but it's a split second thing that happens, and then you remove it. Like, no, I don't think like that. And that's the working progress that we get rid of. You know, some people don't even think that way. Some people are, you know, it's a work in progress. We're on different stages. But again, it's about letting your thoughts not surround and control your emotion and bind your feelings, excuse me, down. It's about releasing your feelings, being honest with how you feel. If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. That's okay. But don't let that bad day take over your thoughts. Don't let those emotions that your thoughts bring tear you down. Allow your thoughts, allow your feelings to be like, you know what? I'm having a bad day. What can I do for myself to make myself feel better? You know, oh, my worries are about this. So what can I do about this to take my mind off of it? What can I do to truly get back into myself, get back into my spirit and relax and release these things? And that takes discipline. And discipline's a hard thing to do, especially on certain levels, and it's a journey. Um yeah. See, that's the thing. That's when you got to realize that, you know, people will project, and like everyone comes from a phase of you. And it's always interesting. If I really encourage you all to like try this out and even like think about it through your day to day, is like notice when people say something about you and then put it on yourself, not in like a way of like defending yourself or like, you know, making yourself seem better, but see how that relates to a past way you thought about anyone or anything. You will immediately make that connection, and you will immediately know where that person's coming from because you've gone through it and you've actually experienced it, whether it was on a big scale or a smaller scale. But you will full on notice. You just got to ignore those people like you ignore that thought, you know. But when it pops up in your face, it's a test. You know, it's not to make you pissed off or to attack you. um it's to really like um show yourself like just the thoughts that you pop away, they're the same thing. um but hold on, I'm going, my ADHD kicked in really big. I'm talking about so much right now. There's so many places I could go off of, and I'm like trying to get back in me. Um, but it's all about. Hold on. Yeah. But um, just remembering that. Shit, oh, where am I gonna go with this spirit? Can you? I need to connect again. I lost all train. I lost the whole train. Train somewhere else. I'm not on it. um, no, but yeah, remembering that there's darkness in the light. Thank you. There we go. We're back on it. You just gotta silence the mind. You'll pop back on immediately. The thoughts will keep you away. Don't think, just feel. But you gotta remember that there has to be some darkness in order for there to be light. And that light doesn't mean that you're purifying something. That light is to bring attention to what's in the dark. And you're using that light to not defend yourself, but to investigate those parts of yourself, those parts of whatever's being thrown at you, and really sit back and be like, so this is why I feel that. The lack I feel inside of myself is being manifested in these areas, and like how does those connect? It's all connected on a grid, and it's for us to figure out how things connect for ourselves. That's the thing. It's a personal issue, but it's a collective event. We're all going through it, but on personal levels. So what do you need to work on, and what do you need to see that you're experiencing as a collective, as we are experiencing as a collective, I should say. um, and it really awakens you to, oh wow, so I'm not doing what I need to do because I'm seeing so and so go through this, and I don't want to go through that, but I'm seeing them go through it, so that means I can too. And oh, I'm seeing how I, perceive things through another person, but I'm understanding it on another level now that that's happened. Like, there's like, I don't know. It's a game of telephone, honestly, but there's no like mixed, well, I mean, there are, never mind. It is just a game of telephone. It is just a straight up game of telephone. But where you're looking at the person face to face, and you're almost like seeing what you need to do and how you need to do it. Are these all knights? Oh my god, I was about to say. But the Knight of Wands, and then the Page of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. There is just like a need to note, to remember that you can't manifest anything on the 3D without the divine. You need to have the divine. The divine will give you the energy to do what you need to do, but allow that energy to not be used in a way that's not beneficial. Allowing yourself, and energy is currency. The divine, like the mother and father, they give you lunch money. Basically, they give you lunch money to learn at school, which is earth, and that the money is literally your energy, and what you spend it on is what you get. So like, mom and dad gives you how much energy to go do these certain things that you plan to do. If you don't do those things, that's on you. It's okay. But if you do those things, then you'll get the results that you're wanting. The divine will always give you currency because there's an infinite abundance of yours that you have. But if you're using them for timely matters, it will be consumed by time, which is the rule of Saturn, Saturn's curse. And you will have to start over again. So using the divine's currency with the exact plan that you see, the exact way that you're wishing to use it, is the big thing. And that, seen as above as below, if you don't use the energy that the divine gives you the proper way, it's like spending your money on something that you thought that you needed, or spending your money haphazardly because you have a surplus of it, and then now you need more because you spent it on things that weren't benefiting you on the path you're on. But that's how you get this victory with the Six of Wands. Even moving forward with the plans that you have always will bring you to success, but it's really about trusting the divine. The divine gives you what you deserve, what you're asking for always. And, mother and father take care of you while you're down here. That's the whole gist of things. But are you taking care of yourself by doing the things that you proclaimed that you want and need to do. That is the whole gist. I'm gonna shuffle 3 more times, and if anything else wants to come out, let it. Yeah. We have the King of Cups reverse and the Ace of Swords. So again, like, you might even know that you're not listening to the initial idea that you're getting from the divine, and you're like, it's just mental clarity of like, when you feel like your feelings are not, if you when you feel like your thoughts aren't following how you're feeling, and instead of following it, they're leading how you should feel, there needs to be a moment for mental clarity. That's when you pause. That's when you take deep breaths. That's when you reset your system and really see, like, where is the mistranslation? Where did this divine pure feeling of pure innocence, of pyre, where did that feeling turn into this distorted energy? How did that come along? What thoughts brought me to this distorted way of thinking? And revert it, bring it back to the pure divine feeling. The divine has you, the divine loves you, the divine loves everyone the same way, but you need to work with mother, with the feeling, so that you're able to get father to budge a little bit. Saturn's a very ruly planet. Like, Saturn, literally, like, you can even see the photo. I forgot what it's called, but Saturn devouring his own son. Like, that's Goyo. Yeah, thank you, Spirit. There we go. But looking at that photo and really, like, paying attention to it, all that is made with time will be devoured by time. Like, Father will test you, and Father will take away just as easily as it comes to you. Time will do that. So that's when you nurture yourself, when you're working with mother, father can't do that. It's literally the story of Saturn. If you don't know the story of Saturn, I looked that up. The whole, like, philosopher's stone and how Zeus came to be. Read that story over, because that literally tells you how to keep your manifestations alive. That tells you how to keep your soul above the water. That tells you how to defeat time. That tells you how to defeat the restrictions that fight against you. That tells you how to, like, walk not against the current, but walk your own path. But that whole story will tell you all the secrets. Every secret that you need to know about yourself is throughout mythos. Is throughout mysticism. Is out throughout tarot. Throughout cartoons that you watch. It's all everywhere, because these people understand it, and they use these references. It's all there in front of you. It really is. It's really bizarre how much it's in front of you. But it's all about being able to clear up your mind and see things for how they are, rather than see things as you think they are, which takes practice. It takes time, but once you do it once, it's going to be easier and easier the second time. But that is the reading, and that is the message that I had. That's what I feel. I feel completed. But thank you, everyone here, for being here. I'm going to say thank you to Divine Mother, Father as well, for helping me along this path and helping me give this message. If you're wanting a reading or any other services that I have, feel free to email me or use the Google form, as well as if you want to be part of the Google group chat. You can be a part of that as well. Email me and I'll add you to it. Regardless, thank you for everything: the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, views, donations, energetic or financial, it doesn't matter. I appreciate all of them greatly. But I love you all so much, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever.